to catch us up on Moon Knight episode 4 and 5, which we're going to just do a quick discussion. So in episode 4, that was the episode where they went through the
tomb.
The tomb, right?
It was like a Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing.
It was a phenomenal episode yet again. We got a lot of like laughter and romance with what's the Layla? With Layla, that was nice.
Layla and Steven mostly, yeah.
Steven, we got a good scene with Layla and Harrow too, after that great action scene when she's like fighting off that mummy, whatever.
Yeah, I would call it a mummy.
Yeah. That was fun. Got to get a little backstory on Layla's father and realizing that Steven was definitely he didn't kill her father, but he was a part of it. Possibly could have stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
Drama. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But the big part of that episode was the ending. Was when once they got to Ahmet's tomb, Harrow, of course, shows up and basically shoots Steven twice in the chest. Or is it Mark? It was Mark.
Mark had taken back over, yeah.
Mark taken back over, and he was shot in the chest twice. He falls into a pool of water. And then the episode ends with them going to, I guess we could call the asylum. They wake up in the asylum. You see all the other characters that have been on the show before playing different roles, and you're a little thrown off, and you get the sense that, okay, where are we? Has this all been in his head this entire time? Mm-hmm. Harrow's there, and he plays a psychiatrist, and then he breaks free, and he's running through the halls, and he finds Steven. Another, by the way, dude. Mark and Steven being next to each other physically, and then the CG. I don't know what combination of CGI and body double camera work is going on, but it's seamless. Like just seamless.
It's beautiful. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's
really good.
It's Oscar Isaac acting against Oscar Isaac. It's beautiful. But the episode ends on on a hippo?
Tarit?
Tarit? Yeah, Tarit.
Yeah.
The goddess of fertility, or resurrection? I forget exactly.
Yeah, we don't know exactly. I can get it.
But it ends on a great CGI shot of the best CGI hippo I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Great CGI. Weird bonkers episode. Amazing. Better than 3. It was better up to that point already. And then of course 5 drops this last week, and the entire episode takes place in the asylum. And we learned that it's more or less this in between, right? This between life and
it's purgatory.
Purgatory. It's purgatory.
Yeah.
On the way to death. They're in Lust. Yeah. And it's not exactly, an asylum. It's just like how they visualize
right.
How they as a human. And so the entire episode is basically is the origin story of Mark Spector, and we learn the entire backstory. We learn about his brother. There's a lot of, and this it just goes through the entire how he lost his brother and how Steven became he had a really troubled childhood with his mother, blaming him for the death of his brother, and was a terrible fucking human being after that.
Right.
His father, all the while they need to. Taret is trying to also get them back to the living, but they can't do so because
they have to balance the scales.
Right, they have to balance the scales. They have to reconcile himself with Steven or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's a heavy ass episode. So much stuff happens. You cry. I did. I teared up a lot. It's still funny. It was again it's the best episode of the fucking series. Arguably the best episode of any of the Disney Plus shows ever put. Mm-hmm. And so if you haven't seen it, please go watch it because a lot of that probably didn't make sense. But go watch it.
Yeah, probably didn't make sense.
But Alex, this show keeps getting better. I think it is, as of right now, even if number 6 isn't so great like the other ones were, I think I can confidently say this is probably my favorite Disney Plus show yet.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on episode 4 and 5, and what do you think about the show in general, dude?
I mean, off the top, yes, it's probably the best CGI hippo we've ever seen. And as we go through it, we mentioned earlier in an earlier episode, we had mentioned that some of the CGI fight scenes don't look great, but now we know why. They spent all the money on these, on the hippo, and as Ed said, they spent a lot of money on the hippo. First of all, but second, to to have Oscar Isaac and Oscar Isaac side by side and seamless like that, it's a hard thing to do. It's a really hard thing to do. So it's expensive and it costs a lot of coverage, a lot of money. So yeah, I think first and foremost, all that was fantastic. There was like literally 0 action scenes in this episode. But yeah, my reaction is it's just been really great. I would agree with you. It's been the best Marvel series so far. Definitely the most adult Marvel series so far. I really, really, really hope they can stick the landing. But, you know, I have a question for you. Do you think there's too much to wrap up in one episode?
It depends how long the episode is. We don't know how long it is yet. That's love to think it's a little longer this time, but if it's not, a little bit, yes, because I mean, again, we basically took an entire episode to stop what's with the
tell
whole
the backstory
and Harrow. We've stopped all that to tell the backstory, and so you have all that in and of itself.
And there was a little bit of like what Harrow was doing because you saw souls being judged too soon, dropping down to the underworld or whatever that is.
He's judging souls left and right.
Right. Which I think that's their little, hey, here's this little information, but it's actually a massive piece of information for them to get back into. But like you would assume that you have to explain a little bit of what's been happening. You have to explain a little bit of what has happened to Layla before you can jump into the final little bit of action.
By the way, it would be amazing if there was this huge time jump. Because like we actually get into it. Like he's like taking over Egypt or some shit. That'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be cool. Actually, that'd be a wonderful way to just kind of sweep it aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to these last 2 episodes, fantastic. Episode 4 was like very cool, very fun, very, Raiders of the Lost Ark, action adventure kind of stuff. Layla, she's so cool and like capable, and Steven's so incapable. And it's really funny. Like the dynamic is really funny. And I remember there was a massive backlash from people from like, I guess, hardcore fans. Oh, because Stephen Grant in the comics was a billionaire. He's a billionaire playboy. And they completely changed him to this like incapable person. They're like, oh, of course you have all these idiots that are going, oh, of course they like, girled him up and sheet him up a little bit and they can't do anything. And it's like, bro, there's already a billionaire playboy. They don't need another one. Like you can't, because you're automatically going to get compared to the only billionaire playboy in the MCU. So you changed him. And I think his change is fantastic, and then, he was so like, you kind of like started to finally really like his character in the 4th episode. And then you see in the 5th episode how he was created, that you see that it is Mark the entire time. And you see that Mark, first of all, Mark's mom, probably the worst parent in the MCU. Jesus, Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. And I love, this is one of the first times, I don't know, I'm not a huge comic book nerd, but it's kind of flipped, like where it's not an origin about a hero that starts from a parent that died. It's a parent who's completely terrible.
Right.
Wow.
Awful.
What a story. Yeah. What an adult thing.
Dude. It's crazy.
So
right.
So great. Yeah.
And you get this backstory for him that's just so heartbreaking. Oh, and he sticks around for so long, and the dad tries to keep him around. And it's like, what? You just like, you're watching the episode and you're getting mad at the dad for like not doing anything, letting the abuse happen. And I guess that may happen a lot. And I think it's a really great episode. And again, to learn how Steven was created was fantastic. Like to learn that Steven was created because he needed an escape from his real life. He needed to remember his mom as this person that was actually great.
Yeah, and absolutely. Mark's story is absolutely tragic. I feel so bad for the guy. I mean, again, he feels responsible for his brother's death. He feels responsible for Layla's father's death.
Yeah.
He feels responsible for how his mom feels. He feels responsible for it all. That's a lot of weight to carry. I mean, Jesus Christ.
You have this they've built this like whole facade around Mark that you think he did kill Layla's father, didn't he? But then you go to see the scene and you see like he couldn't save him.
Yeah, he couldn't save him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he tried. He tried to do the right thing, and you see that you get the backstory to his parents and his mom, and you see that he tried so hard, and this is the role he's in. So yeah,
no, it's super. It's. I mean, they could have if this was like a actual like a mainstream movie. They could have went even harder on this, man. I mean, just to go into the details of it, it's super heartbreaking. Like I totally feel so bad for this for Mark. And you get to see, you really see why he was forced to do the things he had to do. And but he's at the end of the day, he still is just trying to do good. You know, that's what makes him a hero, even though he's so broken. Like what a heartbreaking thing.
Immensely broken. Yeah,
I love that entirely different angle we've taken on a hero in the MCU now. And I'm glad that Marvel had the balls to go there. And to capitalize it nonetheless. And I think it's pretty clear that Oscar Isaac fought for that hard as a producer on the show too. That he knew he was capable, and he's like, no, let's go all the way in. That scene where he can't. His mother's dead, right? His mother dies, and he can't go in, and then he walks away, and he's just bawling his eyes out. He falls onto the floor. I'm just like, that's. And then he wakes up, and it's Steven. And he's just confused, like, oh my god! And then he's on his phone. He thinks he's on the phone with his mom. I'm like, oh my god,
Steven.
Scene. Oh yeah, no.
Steven was the coping mechanism to get through, to help him get through his life. That's everyone talks about. Oh, you create these coping mechanisms. Steven is the coping mechanism.
Absolutely.
And and I you know, to kind of reverse that for somebody with this disorder, can you imagine how heartbreaking it is to find out that you're not the original?
Yes,
that you're
exactly. You feel for both of them. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
like, exactly.
You feel for Steven, like
my life was a lie in a sense, right?
Everything. Yeah, I remember was not true.
And that was actually brilliant too. Is that I well, I guess it makes sense now, but I wasn't sure if he made up his own mom completely. But no, he's remembering the same people. Those they share the same parents, but he's reliving it way differently than Mark did. That's even crazier to me. That's just wow.
It's insane because, like, again, Steven had arguably the better life, and it's all
right. You're right. He had the better life in a sense. I mean, he was a bit of a loser, but
loser by choice.
By choice, and he didn't have to deal with all that hard stuff. And then to realize it was all it was all for
naught. It was all fake.
This conversation we're having is exactly why I think this show is the best one. And it went and it knew that, and I think it went all the way in. And I know I heard a lot of people online complaining that exactly about the things that we were mentioning before, is that this is not Moon Knight. Like, at all. It's basically not a show about Moon Knight at all.
No,
at least at the center of it, right? Like but I love it. We haven't seen Moon Knight in 3 episodes, like half the series.
Right. Again, like, you could count the actual minutes probably on 7 minutes of screen time. I would say that's about it.
I think it might be less, dude. I think it might be less.
I honestly, it might be less than 5 minutes of actual screen time that we've seen Moon Knight. So you had the moment in episode 3, and then you had the moment in episode 2 at the beginning when he runs away. And that's it.
That's it. And then the in episode 1, like right at the tail end, which was like 30 seconds.
A second. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, or a second. It's nothing. Yeah.
So like, it's
great.
Yeah, it's definitely been not what I was expecting, which they promised. It said, hey, it's going to be a lot different MCU show.
Good thing. The big part being is that we're not seeing a super. Like, we're not.
Yeah, this isn't a superhero show.
You're not watching a superhero at all.
I mean, maybe there's a season 2 and we'll see more of a superhero. Maybe there's not. Again, these shows cost a lot of money, so if there's not a season 2, it's totally understandable.
Sure,
I mean, obviously the only season 2 you're going to go with is Tom Hiddleston and Loki. That was a given before the show even started. I guarantee you. So it was the series has been insane. I want to talk just really quick. One, do you think the first guy we saw was Jake Lockley? Because clearly there's a third one. They've been hinting at it the entire time.
Yes.
1B, do you think we'll see a full Jake Lockley reveal before the end of the series? So 1 episode left. And then 2, maybe because I don't fully understand it, but maybe you have a good take on it. What are the Arthur Harrow scenes? Like, what is happening? Why is he going back to this doctor's office? I don't understand what it is. And it kind of throws me off the show because we're getting he's going through these doors and clearly we're in a purgatory, but all of a sudden he's back here talking to Arthur. Is Arthur there somehow, or what's your take on it?
No, you asked me about this on text too, and the quick answer is I'll do this first then. The quick answer is I'm not sure either. Like, right. Okay. So he's having an experience where, yeah, they're in this. What's tricky is that they're in the same place. He goes back to it's just in a different room, but I think we're led to understand that it's also a different that's not even a universe. It's just a different place. Like it's not taking in the same time as the main episode. Right. I don't know. The theory that I had, and this ties into the Jake Lockley thing. So I do believe, just by virtue of the scar on his nose, when we first see him in that first time that we go back, that is Jake Lockley. Because when Steven and Mark go back to that same place, they look like themselves.
Right.
There's an inexplicable thing on his nose. Injury.
Beat up. Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Cool.
Yeah, no. So
I agree with that.
By the visual rules that are set up, that'd likely
be Jake Lockley.
Is it Jake Lockley? It could be someone else. Sure.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, we don't know if it's Jake Lockley.
Since, as we know, it could be Jake is the third thing. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely would put money on that. Yeah, that's my answer to that. So to tie that back to the last question, then I assume maybe Jake is having that's where he's at the moment. Like he's maybe trying to figure out what's going on. He's been asking Harrow questions about catching him up as to what the fuck's been going on, maybe.
So you think Harrow has Jake Lockley somehow?
So there's like a tether, like Jake, that's a tether, right? To that.
Yeah.
So Jake is that tether. And so when he switches out, he's switching out with Jake. But at the same time, if that would mean that perhaps does Jake go to that timeline, in which case no one's noticing Jake still. So
right.
I don't, at the end of it, it's like, logically speaking, I don't know.
Yeah. See, that was the thing. I'm sure it's on purpose, right? But I wish there was a little bit more explanation onto how he's just snapping back to this doctor office with Harrow. And I'm sure it's just there as a plot device to move the plot forward, to talk about, so Steven can open up about Steven. And the truth can come to Steven that his mother is dead. That was that big scene there.
Ultimately, it works. It does work. It does work because it works. But yeah, I would like some explanation.
Just a tiny bit. Like, hey, what the fuck is this? Because there has been a lot of questions not answered.
My other way of seeing it is that, they only switch during a heavy moment of emotion, right?
Right.
So it's subconsciously him wanting answers from Harrow. So again, why does that happen? Like, why does he go back to? I mean, maybe.
So I don't know exactly. Think it's in his subconscious, he's having
the whole thing is just his perception. So
right, true.
Yeah, I think it's just he actually kind of trusts this doctor. So that's when he wants answers, he goes back there, and that's what it is. So
interesting. All right,
we may not get that answer. To be honest, I don't think they're going to spend some time in the next episode explaining that.
Yeah.
So I think we're just left to our own. Volition on that. And then to answer the middle question, do I think we're going to see Jake Lockley in the finale?
Full.
I mean, here's the thing, right? That's a perfect device to go into season 2 if there is a season 2, but we don't know there's a season 2.
Right.
We'd want more from Jake. We'd have to learn more.
Yeah, I mean, we could the season could absolutely end the same way Loki ended, with a big cliffhanger, and then next thing you know, the post-credit scene, quote unquote, or the end of the credits, the credits are really fantastically animated. Just watch them to watch them. It could be, hey, Moon Knight will return for season 2, or it could be Jake Lockley will return for season 2.
Well, because here's the thing. I think we are going to get some Jake Lockley. I think we have to, because again,
I feel like that too.
Even if it's not season 2, he shows up in the next movie, and we just don't deal with Jake ever. Like, you need to have some foundation for how this personality fits. Dude, it'd be pretty crazy if like they manage somehow to also make it the finale, wrap up everything, as well as make it a Jake Lockley episode somehow, where like we get a lot of Jake in the last episode, and we get to know him pretty well. So
right.
Again, because this last episode, there was a lot of stuff, and they managed to pack in a lot of stuff and do it effectively. I don't see why they couldn't do it here. Maybe we get him right at the top of the episode, here we just lost Steven. I forgot, at the end of the episode we lose Steven, but Jake's still there,
right?
So maybe he has to pull, and he needs some help from Jake,
right? Yeah, that's a big thing we've kind of just glossed over. Steven's dead.
or dead. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
he's a
so-
personality, right? So he's not technically
Right.
dead. So
So that's actually, there you go. That's
Yeah.
a perfect place to like, well, here comes Jake, and that's the dynamic for the rest of the episode until we
if I could make a bold prediction,
Mm-hmm.
my guess is it's going to be Mark for most of this last episode, and he's going to be feeling it like it's somebody inside him.
Sure.
And he's going to, at very end, he's going to say, okay, buddy, you can take over now, and watch it be Jake Lockley. And that's how it ends.
Right.
And then I think we do get a season 2 of Moon Knight. I don't know. So according to metrics at the moment, Moon Knight's the biggest show in the world at the moment.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So again, like Marvel's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, they're knocking it out of the park.
So yeah, I think that will maybe. I think that's how it ends. Jake Lockley ends in control.
I mean, I would see that happening again if there was a promise of a season 2. Like, how are you gonna just leave Steven in the desert?
Right,
my boy.
It's gonna be. I can't imagine they're gonna tell this story in 6 episodes and not give it a season 2.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Or
But-
put it, like, what movie does he come in?
I think he comes in. There's a movie that's coming out on Disney Plus specifically called Werewolf by Night, which was his very first appearance in Marvel Comics. Okay. And supposedly that's coming out this year. I don't think that's true. There's no way that's coming out this year because nothing's been. Yeah. But that's a Disney Plus film that's coming out. That, I mean, we'll see. It's supposed to be a Halloween special, and will premiere by Halloween 2022.
I think they will.
It's been in production, so
because, like, again, he's not slated to appear in any. Again, who knows? Maybe he does, but he's not slated to appear in any of the upcoming films. And so, like, how do you fit him? I don't know. And I don't think we can go that long without another Moon Knight series. So I'd hope it'd be season 2. I'd love to see season 2. Why not?
I would love a season 2 too. But I think the next time we do see him will be Werewolf by Night, which is going to be directed.
Is this live action?
Yes. And the director is.
Oh, what
yeah.
So we are okay.
Michael,
so we are going to see him. Okay. Oh, well.
The composer, Michael Giacchino.
Wow. Okay.
He's directing it.
He's directing it?
He's directing it.
Get out of town.
No. It is reported.
Dude, that's new news to
The
me.
Wrap has reported that he is set to direct untitled Halloween special for Marvel Studios, which is rumored to be Werewolf by Night. And yeah, that's The Wrap. That's an official report.
Get the fuck out. Dope. Cool. Okay, that should be interesting. So that's
Giacchino, yeah.
See him. Okay.
He has officially said, I am officially directing it, and we're in production. I don't really know what the hell it's going to be. They're saying, oh Jesus, this is a lot of information, this article. They're saying there's a chance that it's going to be an anthology series, so the first of many parts.
What the fuck?
But they're saying it'll be a full-length movie, 2 to 2.5 hours in length. You could see many characters from the MCU show up and start to connect dots, including Ghost Rider, Blade, and Black Knight.
What the fuck? So this is probably setting up that whole team, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you have an intro. Here's the hook, right? Remember that guy you love so much? Boom, here he is. So yeah, it's weird that we haven't seen anything from this movie yet, but then again, it's not as weird because Marvel has been, very close to the chest with all of their properties recently. So, hey,
there you go. That's exciting. I didn't know that.
I think that's very exciting. And again, the first Moon Knight trailer didn't drop until a month before the series came out. So
yeah, pretty late.
We got. I think. I hope it's. I can't say I hope it's true because it is true. He is directing something. I hope it's true that it's coming out Halloween of this year because that would be amazing. That would just be another cherry on top of an amazing Marvel year. It seems.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
So but those are reactions and things to Moon Knight episode 4 and 5. Did you got anything else on it?
No, man. I'm just enjoying the series. I cannot wait for the finale, and I like you. I really hope they stick the landing. It doesn't have to be incredible, but it just can't be a dumpster fire like all the other ones were, except for Loki. Loki was good.
Loki landed it, but even WandaVision, a show that I loved, it really mangled the ending.
Yeah, that was not good.
The fucking that one scene. They'll never understand the trauma you went through. Bitch, you just kidnapped an entire town for a long time. What do you mean they'll never understand?
That line.
You cannot just excuse bad behavior because you want to excuse it because she's an Avenger.
Yeah, what what is she even referring to? What for them? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
seriously, what are you
talking about? Losing Vision, and letting them go to give up her kids.
Oh my God.
That weren't actually real. So
yeah, they weren't real. It's arguable if they. I mean,
let's that scene ruined that episode for me. I was like, yo, there has to be a consequence. She cannot just be like, oh, I get away with it. But apparently that will be touched on in Multiverse of Madness.
It's pretty clear she's not necessarily out of that.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that someone's holding her accountable somewhere.
Yeah, good. They should. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I really that was so stupid.
So super stupid. Anyway, if you've made it to this point, thank you so much for sticking around for that long, very long episode, 2.5 hours plus on this. But there's so much stuff out of CinemaCon. I mean, CinemaCon at this point is bigger than Comic-Con. Jesus.
Very true. We don't even know what's happening for Comic-Con this year. I don't know.
No, I don't know either. But yeah, that's CinemaCon news. Fast 10, Michael Bay, #. John Watts exits Fantastic Four. And of course, Moon Knight 4 and 5. And then very, 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 very big shout out to everyone that keeps watching our Instagram reels. We're really glad you guys like them and you guys find them very funny. We're getting a lot of good reviews on them. It's been funny. It's been fun.
It'll only get better. It'll only get better. It'll
only get better from here. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing. I just want to remind you guys, if you don't want to watch the whole episode, there are little clips now on YouTube that go up. Yeah.
We call them slices.
Oh, yeah. The pizza slices. Pizza slices. Yeah.
I just call them slices. Yeah.
Oh, slices. Oh, sorry. Well, that makes pizza slices makes more sense. But
I can keep them as pizza. I can put pizza slices, I guess so. But I don't want to like trick people. I mean, really, are people going to really think there's pizza slices?
Yeah, they're going to see our faces and think pizza. I don't think so.
You just never know. Never know.
True. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching and listening and all the jazz. It means the world to us. And Multiverse of Madness next week and Moon Knight. Big episode again next week.
Big episode next week. So yeah, tune in.
Tune in. Thanks, guys.
Bye.